Papua New Guinea has a framework of international and national commitments for improving gender and social inclusion. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights lays the foundation upon which all other international human rights conventions and agreements are based. Drafted by representatives with different legal and cultural backgrounds, the declaration was proclaimed by the United Nations General Assembly in Paris on 10th December 1948 as a common standard of achievement for all peoples and all nations. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights sets out for the first time fundamental human rights to be universally protected. It has since been translated into 500 languages. PNG's gender equity and social inclusion policy takes into account the articles under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights which concern gender equity, social inclusion, and development. These are Article 1. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Article 2. Everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration, without distinction of any kind, such as race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth or other status. Furthermore, no distinction shall be made on the basis of the political, jurisdictional, or international status of the country or territory to which a person belongs, whether it be independent, trust, non-self-governing, or under any other limitation of sovereignty. PNG has international commitments on the ratification of treaties and conventions in the areas of gender equity and social inclusion, including the Human Rights Charter made at all United Nations international conferences and GESI-related agreements. PNG is also signatory to the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW, an international treaty adopted in 1979 by the United Nations General Assembly. Article 1 defines discrimination against women in the following terms. Any discrimination, exclusion or restriction made on the basis of sex which has the effect or purpose of impairing or nullifying the recognition, enjoyment or exercise by women, irrespective of their marital status, on a basis of equality of men and women, of human rights and fundamental freedoms in the political, economic, social, cultural, civil or any other field. Article 2 mandates that parties ratifying the convention declare intent to enshrine gender equality into their domestic legislation, repeal all discriminatory provisions in their laws, and enact new provisions to guard against discrimination against women. States ratifying the convention must also establish tribunals and public institutions to guarantee women effective protection against discrimination and take steps to eliminate all forms of discrimination practiced against women by individuals, organizations, and enterprises. PNG has a legislative and policy framework which supports and promotes gender equity and socially inclusive processes and practices. Goals 1 and 2 of PNG's national constitution recognize integral human development and equality and participation. Section 55 allows for deliberate actions and interventions to be taken in order to ensure equal opportunities for all. Gender equity and social inclusion principles and strategies are also key aspects of the Vision 2050, Development Strategic Plan 2010 to 2030, and our medium-term development plans. In addition, there are a number of global and national goals, such as the Sustainable Development Goals, which strive to bring our nation to an equal footing with other developed nations. The PNG government has also developed a number of national policies which support gender equity and social inclusion. These include the National Policy on Disability, the National Policy for Women and Gender Equity 2011 to 2015, and the National HIV/AIDS Policy. The Public Service Management Act has recently been updated to reflect GESI principles, and the 4th edition Public Service General Orders (PSGO) now include clear statements on our GESI obligations as officers and employees of the National Public Service. The Public Service Code of Business Ethics and Conduct also prescribes the expected behaviors of public servants in this area. The GESI policy was developed within this global and national framework through extensive stakeholder consultations, where issues and challenges in the workplace were highlighted, workshopped, and discussed. The GESI policy supports and assists national public service agencies, officers, and employees to embrace the gender equity and social inclusion principles of respect, equity, and diversity. It allows agencies to introduce inclusion and equity initiatives in the workplace and into the delivery of goods and services for the combined benefit and prosperity of all citizens of PNG.